Not everything requires a response. There's a quiet kind of power that most people never tap into. It's the power of not reacting. See, we live in a world where everything is pulling for our attention. A rude comment, a passive-aggressive email, a driver who cuts you off, a text left unread. And every time something bothers you, we feel like we have to do something about it. We feel the urge to react, to explain ourselves, to fire back, to prove a point. But what if I told you this? Not everything requires a response. Not every comment deserves your energy. Not every insult needs a reply. Not every situation needs your attention. Some things just don't matter. And the moment you realize that, you step into a new level of peace. You gain control, not over the world, but over yourself. Think about how much of your day is spent getting worked up over things you can't control. Someone else's opinion, someone else's choices, the weather, the news, the past, the future. And yet none of those things are in your hands. What is in your hands is how you respond, or if you respond at all. There's strength in restraint. There's wisdom in silence. And sometimes the most powerful things you can do is walk away quietly. Letting go isn't weakness, it's emotional maturity. It's knowing that your peace matters more than proving a point. It's knowing that your energy is limited and you don't owe it to every distraction that pops up in your day. People will talk, let them. Situations will unfold that you didn't see coming, let them. You won't have closure for everything. Accept it. Some things aren't worth fighting for, not because you're giving up, but because you're choosing yourself over unnecessary battles. Because at the end of the day, what really matters? Is it that you won the argument, or is it that you protected your mental space? Is it that you had the last word, or is it that you kept your peace? We often feel the need to defend ourselves because we think silence means weakness. But silence can be the loudest answer of all. Silence says, I know who I am. I don't need to prove it to you. Silence says, you don't have the power to pull me out of alignment. This doesn't mean you let people walk all over you. It means you choose your battles wisely. You speak when it's meaningful, not out of impulse. You reserve your energy for the things that actually move your life forward. It's not about avoiding everything, it's about responding with purpose. So the next time something annoys you, ask yourself, does this deserve my energy? Will this matter a week from now? Is this helping me grow? And if the answer is no, let it go. You only get so much energy in a day. Why spend it on things that drain you instead of things that build you? Focus on your goals. Focus on your growth. Focus on your peace. Because your peace is sacred. Your mind is sacred. And you protect both by choosing wisely what you give your attention to. You can't control everything, but you can control you. So choose peace. Choose silence. Choose power. Because not everything requires a response. Everyone is jealous of what you've got. No one is jealous of how you got it. Success is admired. The spotlight is celebrated. The final product being the wealth, the recognition, the confidence. That's what people see. And let's be honest, envy follows success like a shadow. But no one envies the struggle. No one wishes for the nights you spent doubting yourself. No one wants the failures, the rejections, the pain that came before the reward. They see the house, but not the hours. They see the strength, but not the sacrifice. They see the victory, but not the wounds. And that's the problem. Too many people want the end result without the process. They want the reward without the discipline, the respect without the work, the success without the struggle. But that's not how it works. Every person who has built something great has paid a price. Behind every win is a collection of losses that no one talks about. People admire the athlete on the podium, but who wants to wake up at 4 a.m. for years, training in pain, pushing through exhaustion? People admire the millionaire, but who wants to risk everything, fail 10 times, and spend years in uncertainty? People admire the confidence, but who wants to battle self-doubt, push past criticism, and stand alone when no one believes in you? You can't separate the prize from the price. So stop comparing, start creating. When you see someone's success, don't envy it, study it. Instead of saying they're lucky, ask, what did they do that I'm not doing? Because the truth is, envy is a distraction. It keeps you looking at someone else's life instead of building your own. It makes you resent what you don't have instead of working for what you want. There's a reason not everyone is successful. The road is painful, it's exhausting, it's long. But the ones who make it, they aren't superhuman. They don't have special privileges. They just didn't quit. They did the work when no one noticed. They took the hits and kept going. They weren't chasing approval, they were chasing something bigger. You know what's hard? Waking up broke, hating your job, feeling stuck. You know what else is hard? Waking up early, working when you don't feel like it, failing, learning, and pushing forward. One hard leads to success, the other leads to regret. So pick your hard. When you finally get there, when you finally succeed, it won't be luck. It won't be handed to you. It will be because you showed up, you fought through the storms, and you refused to quit. And by then, you won't care about the jealousy, because you'll know what it took. You'll know what you paid. And you'll stand taller, not because people admire you, but because you admire yourself. There comes a moment in life when you have to ask yourself, am I really giving it everything I've got? Not just in your career, your relationships, or your ambitions, but in the way you show up every single day. Your life is a direct reflection of the standards you set for yourself. Not your wishes, not your dreams, your standards. Because we don't get what we want in life, we get what we're willing to tolerate. I think everybody wants success, however it's defined. You may want financial freedom, great health, fulfilling relationships, but look around. If it were just about wanting, wouldn't more people have it? The difference is in the standard. Some people see excellence as optional, while others see it as a non-negotiable. Some accept excuses, while others demand results. The question is, what type of person are you? Look at the areas of your life where you feel stuck, where you feel frustrated, where you know deep down that you're settling for less than you're capable of. Now ask yourself, what am I tolerating here? Are you tolerating negative self-talk? Are you tolerating poor discipline? Are you tolerating an environment that drains you? Because the moment you raise your standard, that's the moment everything starts to shift. When you decide that being out of shape is no longer acceptable, your body changes. When you decide that mediocrity in your career is no longer acceptable, your work ethic changes. When you decide that toxic relationships are no longer acceptable, your boundaries change. Nothing changes until you demand more from yourself. Your standards shape your identity. Your standards define who you are. If you say you're someone who values excellence, but you let yourself cut corners, that's not a high standard. That's just a hopeful idea. A person with high standards doesn't talk about them, they live them. If you truly hold yourself to a standard of discipline, you don't skip workouts because you're tired. If you have a standard for self-respect, you don't stay in places where you're unappreciated. If you set a standard for success, you don't let failure break you. You use it as fuel. It's not about being perfect. It's about refusing to accept less than what you know you're capable of. People can sense the difference between someone who's half in and someone who's all in. Think about the athletes who demand excellence from themselves every day. The business leaders who never stop learning. The artists who refuse to settle for average work. They don't just show up when they feel like it. They show up because their standard requires them to. And when you carry yourself with that same level of commitment, the world responds. Opportunities find you. The right people respect you. Life has an interesting way of testing us, doesn't it? I mean, we've all faced moments where things didn't go the way we'd hoped. There are moments of rejection, betrayal, or loss. And it's natural to feel bitter when the people or circumstances you relied on let you down. But the truth is, bitterness only chains us to the pain. So growth, resilience, and success, those are forged when we let go of bitterness and focus on becoming better. You see, every setback you've endured, every time life didn't go your way, it came with a hidden gift. And that was a chance to grow, to evolve, and to rise above. And sometimes we need those tough moments to remind us of who we are and what we're capable of. So let's give gratitude to those very challenges that once felt like roadblocks. Thank you to the doors that slammed in my face. At the time, it felt like rejection, like everything I'd worked for was slipping away. But in hindsight, those closed doors redirected me to something far greater than I'd imagined. They forced me to innovate, to think differently, and to walk a path that was uniquely mine. When that opportunity you thought was the one disappears, it's not the end. Sometimes it's the universe clearing the way for something extraordinary. Thank you to the people who doubted me. Your skepticism lit a fire within me that I didn't even know existed. You gave me the hunger to push beyond my limits, to prove not just to you, but to myself that I am capable. Every time you said you can't do it, I used those words as fuel to show you that I absolutely could. If people doubt you, let it strengthen your resolve. Remember, diamonds are formed under pressure, not in comfort. Thank you to the moments that felt like failure. Those were the moments that taught me resilience, patience, and the power of perseverance. Failure isn't the opposite of success. In fact, it's the foundation of it. Thomas Edison famously failed 10,000 times before creating the light bulb. But then he said, I didn't fail, I just found 10,000 ways it didn't work. So let your failures teach you, refine you, and guide you towards your next breakthrough. Thank you to the relationships that didn't last, to the ones who walked away, to the people who didn't believe in me. I owe you a special kind of gratitude, because your departure made room for people who genuinely care, who genuinely support me. It made me stronger, more self-reliant, and more aware of my worth. Sometimes we cling to the people who are not meant to walk the whole journey with us. So let them go, and trust that their absence is a gift in disguise. Thank you to the struggles that felt insurmountable. Those were the moments I discovered my true strength. When life tests you, it's not to break you, but to build you. The pain you've endured becomes the strength you lean on, and every mountain you've climbed becomes a testament to your perseverance. Bitterness is a weight that holds you in place, tethering you to the past. But choosing to be better, that's where transformation happens. Better doesn't mean forgetting what hurt you or pretending it didn't matter. It means using those experiences as stepping stones to a brighter future. So here's my challenge to you. The next time life feels unfair, when someone lets you down or circumstances don't go your way, just pause and ask yourself, will this make me bitter or will this make me better? Choose better. Always choose better. Because the truth is, you can't control what happens to you, but you can control how you respond. The people who doubted you, they don't define you. The opportunities you lost, they don't limit you. What defines you is how you rise, how you grow, and how you use every experience, good and bad, to build the life you deserve. Remember, life is a journey, not a straight line. So every twist, turn, and detour, it's shaping you into someone stronger, wiser, and more capable than you ever imagined. When life gets hard, don't let it make you bitter. Let it make you better. Every great achievement begins with a decision to persist, no matter how tough the road becomes. Right now, you might be feeling stuck, like your efforts aren't paying off, like the finish line is a distant dream. But remember, you're still in motion. You're still on the path. This moment, this struggle, it's just part of the process. It's not a signal to stop. It's a reminder that you're building the strength you'll need for what lies ahead. The journey to your goals was never meant to be easy. Obstacles and challenges are not there to defeat you. They're there to build you. Every barrier you face is shaping you into the person capable of achieving what you're working toward. You're not just aiming for success. You're becoming someone who embodies resilience, determination, and grit. Those qualities aren't given, they're earned through the trials of perseverance. Progress doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it's slow, almost imperceptible. But it's happening, like a foundation being laid beneath the surface. The effort you're putting in now is setting the stage for something extraordinary. Even when it feels like you're standing still, you're preparing for the leap forward that will come. Keep going, even when it's hard to see the results. Trust that your consistent effort is building your future. You may feel tempted to quit. The thought of easing the struggle, of taking the pressure off, can be alluring. But we know that stepping back will not bring you closer to the life you've envisioned. You're just being tested. Regret is heavier than any challenge you're facing right now. If you stop, you'll never know what could have been. If you continue, well, then the possibilities are endless. Understand that the most inspiring stories aren't about smooth roads and easy wins. They're about perseverance. They're about people who faced incredible odds and kept pushing forward, who refused to let temporary defeats define them. Your story has the same potential. The struggle you're enduring will one day be a part of your journey that inspires others. When you feel your resolve wavering, reconnect with your vision. Picture what you're working toward. Hold on to the spark that started this journey. Let that drive push you forward when momentum wanes. Success is not reserved for those who have the easiest path. It's for those who refuse to quit. Every day you choose to persist, you're getting closer. Every effort, no matter how small, it's progress. You may not be there yet, but you're further ahead than we were yesterday. Keep your focus on the direction you're headed, not the distance left to travel. The journey is shaping you, strengthening you, and preparing you for what's to come. The path is still yours to take. The goals you've set are still waiting for you. You're capable of enduring more than you think and achieving more than you've imagined. So keep going, keep climbing. You're not there yet, but you're closer than you've ever been. You don't need motivation. What you lack is discipline. Motivation is this wavering sense of energy that comes and goes like the winds. Some mornings you're inspired, and other mornings you're not. So what, you're gonna wait for the right feeling to hit you before you get going? You're gonna wait for the energy to move you before you tackle the day? You're doing it all wrong. You're putting the cart before the horse. You're thinking that if I'm motivated, then I'll accomplish great things. So let me focus on the emotion and then I'll get moving. But you can't count on that motivation to be there consistently. What you need is discipline. See, discipline doesn't care about your feelings. It doesn't care if you had a bad night, a bad week, or even a bad month. Discipline says, regardless of my feelings, regardless of my results, I'm sticking to the plan. I'm gonna keep with the must-dos of my life, because if I don't, then I'll never get what I truly want. Discipline is doing the little things on a daily basis, whether you feel like it or not. It doesn't ask for motivation. It's simply making daily decisions in spite of the circumstances, very often going against your mood or energy level. Discipline is putting off the short-term pain for the long-term gain. Discipline is taking on the difficult now to avoid the pain of regret later. You see, you'll never regret doing more than what is required. You'll never regret putting in the extra effort. You're not going to wake up months or years from now and say, thank goodness I hit that snooze alarm. Or thank goodness I skipped all those workouts. Or I put off all those difficult conversations. You'll only regret the things you didn't do. But unfortunately, that feeling of regret only appears after the moment has passed. After enough time has gone on where you look back and you see that nothing's changed. Discipline says, let's not let the moment pass. It understands that it's the actions of today that will affect my tomorrow. So stop waiting for motivation and start embracing discipline. Like the quote says, if you think the price of winning is too high, wait until you get the bill for regret. What is required for success is action. It's not the emotional inspiration that motivation brings us. But I promise you this, if you want to bring the emotional energy into you, then take the actions and the feelings will start to develop. Like I say to my clients, if you're not inspired to go to the gym, tell you what, just go for 5 minutes. If you're not inspired to read that book, just commit to reading for 5 minutes. And guess what happens? That 5 minutes gets the momentum going. Suddenly my uninspired state begins to make a shift. The 5 minutes turns into 10, 20, or 30, and before you know it, the workout is complete, or that chapter has been finished. It wasn't that the motivation got me started, it was the actions. my discipline brought about the motivation. Let me ask you this. Was there ever a workout you regret doing? Hardly. Was there ever a regret for not doing the workout? More likely. So there you have it. You don't need motivation. You just need discipline. Are you spending your time or are you investing your time? That's the question that came up in a recent feed, and it got me thinking because ironically, at that moment when the question was presented, I was aimlessly scrolling, totally unaware of what I was even doing. Yes, even mindset coaches can get caught up in doing mindless things. There's an interesting stat that says people only use their conscious mind 5% of the time, which means that 95% of our daily activity is subconscious. Now, I've been aware of this stat for quite a while, and I even use it in my coaching and presentations, yet here I was, subconsciously spending time on mindless activities. So maybe it was a divine intervention, because when that question came up, it activated my conscious mind. It got me to thinking. If we see time as a commodity, there's a limited supply. We're obviously here for a finite period. Eventually, time will run out for all of us. So how we use that time suddenly becomes valuable. In the financial world, the wealthy understand this concept. By spending, I may get an immediate return, but the real wealth is created when they invest. The investment may not pay dividends right away, but with time, they'll be richer in the long run. When we spend our time, that time is gone. Sure, there might be some enjoyment in the moment, but there's no long-term return. However, if I invest my time, then for sure there'll be a return because I've used my time to bring about something greater. Let me give you some examples of subtle changes that you can make that'll transform spending your time into investing your time. We all enjoy watching a good movie. So how about instead of the mindless action flicks, we make a switch to a documentary? Something that will empower the mind. One of my favorite things to do is watch sports documentaries. After all, they combine two of my favorite things, sports and the human struggle to overcome adversity. In almost every one I watch, what's highlighted is the athlete's mindset to achieve the greatness. Next, instead of that reality TV show you've been glued to, how about you spend that hour reading about history or biography? There are some great books out there, but I bet you haven't put in the effort. Here's a stat that blows my mind. 1/3 of high school graduates never read another book after leaving school. They invested their time while in school, but have since become spenders. The changes don't have to be drastic, and it doesn't have to be a total switch to just investing. I'll admit, there are some benefits to spending, like the immediate gratification, but the investing is where the real power lies. In Joe Rogan's podcast, he says to be productive, pretend there's a documentary crew following you around. If there were cameras on you 24/7, how would your days change? My guess is that a lot of you spenders will turn into investors. It's better to aim high and miss than to aim low and hit. That's a famous quote I use regularly with my clients. It's usually brought up when we're talking about setting goals as part of my private coaching. But it's an interesting introspect into one's psyche. Am I comfortable to aim high and miss, or would I rather aim low and hit? What's going to make me feel better? For most people, the idea of making what might seem unreasonable targets, aiming high, it's an exercise in futility. Why bother set goals so beyond the norm that they seem impossible to hit? Now, I should mention that most of my clients are aspiring athletes, most dreaming of playing at the professional levels. And when we begin this exercise, although they'd love to play at the highest level, there's a resistance. There's a certain feeling of discomfort in even talking about it or setting that goal. Me play professional? That'd be nice, but is it realistic? And here we see your belief system exposed, or rather your limiting beliefs that block you from seeing your potential. How you see yourself and your abilities is revealed with this simple task. We're all guided by our beliefs and values. If I don't believe I can achieve something, I'm not even going to bother starting the process. What would be the point? So to give myself some comfort, what I'll do is I'll lower the bar. I'll aim low and hopefully hit some targets to make me feel good, feel like I'm accomplishing things. And you might say as the listener, what's the problem with that? Shouldn't I want to succeed on smaller goals and maybe go from there? See what happens. And I'd say, well, okay, there's a rational argument to be had to make realistic goals. Okay, but here's where I'm going with this. I say make the goals big, aim high. Expand your belief system right from the get-go. Get uncomfortable. When talking to my clients, I'll explain that there are X number of jobs at the professional level. Why not you? Why not go for it? Aim high. Get out from under your limiting belief and see things differently. See your potential as something powerful. Someone's going to hold those jobs. Why not you? How the professionals got those jobs? Well, it started with their belief that they could achieve it. They believed, and then they got to work and they never stopped. Now, when you start the journey, you're going to hit the smaller goals anyways. They'll validate your belief that you can or are moving incrementally towards the top. I say, let's just get this thing started properly. If we're using the GPS in your car or on your phone, we don't set destinations every mile. What we do is we set the final destination. Ultimately, where do I really want to go? We're going to hit those miles along the way, but they're only indicators that we're on the right path. It's better to aim high and miss. Yes, I might not make the professional level. Maybe it was too unrealistic for my talents or skills, but I'll tell you this, I might come close. And in the meantime, I'm living a life by design. I'm working every day for a goal. I have purpose. I'm going after what few even dream to chase. And if I come up short, I won't have any regrets. I got closer than most people simply because I chose to aim high. Or think about it like this. Let's say you've got darts in your hand and the board is right in front of you. I'm going to ask you to aim for the bullseye. Now throw. Did you hit it? Maybe. But even if you didn't, did you get close? If you're not aiming for the bullseye, then anywhere on the board will do. Now, will that bring you joy? I doubt it. I'd rather aim high. Maybe I hit. Maybe I don't. But at least I took my shot.